This is Pratishtha, your IELTS trainer. And in this session, we are going to do a quick review and revision of all that we have done in the previous lessons. So, without wasting a lot of time, we will go on and look towards what did we do in grammar, in listening, reading, writing, and speaking. So again, I think most of it boils down to the fact that pay attention, have a lot of focus, and try to look at keywords. Keywords are super important, right? So I'm just going to share my screen, and let's see what are we going to do for the day. So in week 6, review and practice, we have review the key concepts and strategies which were covered in week 6. Right, we have practice advanced skills. So we'll be practicing that, address any challenges and provide extra support, and work on improving your overall IELTS performance. Now we will do clauses, conditional sentences, and relative pronouns. That is something that we'll do. It's a new part. It's a little bit advanced grammar. We will do listening practice. We'll do longer and more complex conversation, which is more like part 4 of the listening exam. We will do some reading skills. We will practice them, right? We will do more inference-based questions. Inference-based is where you have to sort of guess a little bit. And then we will also do some writing practice. We will lean towards more, task 2, because that is the one which is more complicated and complex. So that is something that, all of this is something that we will practice on. So, conditional clauses, this is just a review, right? I'm not telling you in depth, right? Conditional clauses are basically when it follows conditions, right? So for example, if it rains, then I'll not go out. It's a condition that I'm, figuring out. So again, these are complex type of sentences. They are not simple sentences. But usually, as the name suggests, it's going to follow some condition. So complete the following sentences using the correct form. So if I studied harder, I would have passed the test. If you will be free tomorrow, we could go to the park. Write 2 complex sentences using relative pronouns, who, which, that. Now, these are relative pronouns. Relative pronouns basically means it's not like the normal pronouns, he, she, which is called the subject pronouns, right? So it's not subject pronouns like he, she, they, the basic ones. It is something to, I would say, replace or something to put more focus on, right? The pronouns which we want to really talk about and highlight. So for example, who? The teacher who you were talking about is here. The dress which you wore yesterday was nice. The math question that you solved was tough. Right? So again, if you see now, these are the relative clauses, relative pronouns that I have used. The teacher who you were talking about is here. It's emphasizing on the teacher, on the subject, right? The dress which you wore. The math question that you solved. It's focusing on the subject. It's highlighting the subject more. Right? Now, this is how you usually will tell and do your relative pronouns. We will look at relative pronouns in depth. This is more to let you know that what to expect in the further lessons, right? So this is just like an expectation thing that I am discussing with you today in this video. What to expect, conditional clauses, relative pronouns, all of these advanced grammar, I would say, using complex sentence structures. Now, listening practice. In listening practice, we have done a lot of listening practice already. As you transition from listening activity 1 to listening activity 4, you would see that the questions, it's pretty straightforward. It's just that the audio is not giving you direct answers, and also the vocabulary has been changed. So we will focus only and only on listening practice 3 and listening practice 2 when we do in our upcoming sessions. So majorly what we are going to look at in the listening section, we are going to practice identifying opinions and arguments. What is the opinion? What is the conversation happening about? Right? We will understand what is the main topic, what are the key opinions expressed, what evidence have they given, right? So I mean, this is just for argumentation purposes and things like that, but every IELTS audio, every IELTS test is going to be a little bit different. But let's see. Then we have reading passage analysis. In reading passage analysis, we will, focus only on complex topics. So even if you have seen the previous videos, we were talking about some aircraft stuff, right? Like what are the levels of the aircraft, what is the security, where they can go, and all of that. So it's something that is, not that I would say a regular topic, right? It's more of a complex topic, right? Then we also did something about telepathy. It's not necessary that everyone is going to know about what telepathy is. It's a new topic, but then it's in reading, right? So you have something in front of you. When it comes to speaking, again, it's something that you have to make, but when it comes to reading, you can be given any number of complex topics, right? Probably you might have not heard about it, but that's the whole point, to read it, to know about it, and to understand it, to be able to solve questions, right? The comprehension part of it. Then we also did something related on telepathy, which we already talked about. Then we also did something related to, I guess, what was it? Like probably some dye or some science kind of stuff. I don't remember it clearly, but I think we did all of this, and this shows that it could be related to anything, some sort of information that has been given to us, and trying to build on that, right? But what essentially we did, no matter what kind of essay it was, we were focusing, underlining keywords, we were making small summaries, and that really helped us to uh, come to the question answers, right? Because we were able to navigate through the passage no matter how difficult it was. And also make sure not to go into complex details, always focus on skimming and scanning, and not going into details. So what is the main argument of the passage? That is what we will talk about. How does the author support their argument with evidence? Probably they have given some sort of evidence. Question can be based on that. Are there any inferences or conclusions that can be drawn? So is there anything that we can learn from the text? So on and so forth. Then we will focus mainly on the writing part 2, which is essay writing, right? Usually in writing part 2, there can be two kinds. For example, first, you have this side of the story and you have this side of the story. Discuss both the opinions and then give your own opinion, right? Discuss both of them and then give your own. So here what you can do, you need to create 3 body paragraphs, of course, introduction and a conclusion, but 3 body paragraphs, 5 paragraphs in total, out of which 3 will be body paragraphs. So in first one, you can probably talk about advantages and disadvantages of the first thing. Second body paragraph, advantages and disadvantages of the second thing. But in the third one, you have to be specific on what your opinion is, and you cannot go neutral. You have to pick one, right? So try to pick one. It's basically to judge your strong opinion, like how good you are at convincing stuff, right? So third one is going to be you finally convincing, right? Then there can be a topic that could say, here are 2 sides of the story. You have to pick one and prove your point on it. In this kind, the structure would be you have intro, 3 body paragraphs, and a conclusion. In this one, you can just decide, and first part could be that you are giving reason number 1, that why I picked the first option, right? Or why I picked the second option. Second body paragraph, reason number 2, why I picked this second or first option. Reason number 3, why I picked the first and the first or the second option, right? So you have to base this whole thing on your one single opinion and try to elaborate by giving different reasons, by giving more elaborate examples, by giving like I would say stats, things like that, right? So I mean, these are majorly the two kinds of structures that you look at, and you have to like be a master of your own judgment on what you need to pick, right? So for example, you can say that many people believe that government should take measures to reduce environmental pollution. Do you agree or disagree with statement? It's this kind of paragraph, right? Do you agree or disagree? So you either you agree or you disagree. Is it government or is it the people? So you can say, yes, I agree. First point, first whole body paragraph, you will talk about your first reason why it should be the government, probably because it is only in the government's hand to educate people. Second body paragraph, you can talk about government can, influence people on a mass scale, all right? Third point could be government can implement, I would say, rules, strict rules and fines. So these three paragraphs, you can just separate your body paragraphs into these 3 points and then try to elaborate it by giving some stats or some kind of, examples or something. And this is how you will do your writing tasks. Then write an essay, focus on developing a clear, coherent argument supported by evidence and example. Extremely important while writing an essay is take 5 minutes out to prepare these structures, to prepare a mind map, right? That is extremely important. Rest 15 to 20 minutes you can spend on writing it, and then last 5 minutes you need to revise. That is super important. And to be honest, this 5 minute is going to reduce this time. If you feel you are good, like you can write it in 20 minutes, like, focusing on this 5 minute will actually reduce your time. Probably you'll be able to write in 15 minutes. So try to not skip on this 5 minute, right? It's super important that you plan. Then you have IELTS speaking. IELTS speaking, we will be practicing, almost all the parts. We will also develop more on how to prepare your introduction, what you can talk about in your introduction. We will also discuss more monologues so that you also have an idea what you can say, what you cannot say. Again, there can be n number of topics that can come, but majorly it's going to remain the same under the same, umbrella. Then part 3 is cross questioning. So that could be anything, right? But if you know the topic thoroughly, if you know how to talk in a basic manner, I think you're good to go. Then that being said, this is what you are set for in the week 6, right? We will do advanced grammar, we will do listening skills, some reading comprehensions, writing techniques, major writing techniques. We will do some more important skills that will help you improve on your writing, some more grammar. And that's pretty much it. We will also do some mock tests in this session, and then we will sort of review it as it goes along. So I would say week 6 is going to be more about complex grammar, a little bit more complex structures when it comes to reading, writing, speaking, listening. And this is where, you will start being a little bit more independent, being able to solve a little bit more tough questions, or maybe full mock tests even, right? So stay tuned, and we are going to do more complex practices. So I'll see you in next session.